Hey there, it's Dave Duford here at buylifeinsuranceforburial.com, where I help answer your questions about life insurance and burial insurance. And today we're going to do an actual life insurance application walkthrough with Colonial Penn. The reason I've put this video together specifically is to help identify the details surrounding applying for the most common life insurance options that Colonial Penn offers, to help basically just reveal what the details are that you're about to get into, to make sure, really just to double check, if what Colonial Penn is offering you really makes the most sense for what you're looking to accomplish in your life insurance goals. Of course, you're probably watching this because you've seen endless ads on television. You've received endless junk mail from Colonial Penn throughout many of the past decades, probably in some cases, and wonder if this particular product makes sense. So this walkthrough of how to apply for Colonial Penn Life Insurance will describe a lot about how the programs work and give you all of the most important information to make that decision if this is sensible for your life insurance goals. Full disclosure here, I am a life insurance agent. I do help people like yourself with their burial and life insurance needs, whether that's personally or for someone you love, such as a spouse or a parent or grandparent. And I do help people get deals that are sometimes more accommodating than what I show on camera here. So just to be fully transparent, that you're aware of where I stand in this whole ordeal. Either way, I'm going to help you feel, or at least research all of the information here to get a good sense if this is something that's sensible. So I shall direct you to my screen. You see that you are on colonialpenn.com, the home screen. And there is Mr. Trebek, the compensated endorser. So let's talk about the particular program. This is the Your Guaranteed, or Your Acceptance Guaranteed program. You've probably seen a lot about the Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance program. If we scroll down here, there's three particular products you're going to see right in the middle of the screen, which include Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance, Permanent Whole Life Insurance, and Renewable Term Life Insurance. Our job today is to go through each of these to give you an idea of how everything works in specificity. We're going to do each individually to begin with, again, with the goal of giving you complete information on how these plans work from the very website in which you would apply from. So let's start first with the Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance application process. This brings you to a page where you begin to see the highlights and benefits of the Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance program. As it's stated many times in the commercials and advertisements, there is no medical exam, and you cannot be turned down because of your health. And here really is the kicker with how they're able to do that. Maybe you've wondered, well, how can a life insurance company, which insures me to live, or will pay that I will pay a death benefit when I die, how can they ensure that anybody within the age range can get acceptance guaranteed? Here's why. We can read it right here as I scroll in closer to you for you to see. We can guarantee acceptance because of a 2-year limited benefit period. That specifically means there's a limitation on what this coverage will do within the first 2 years. Of course, there's not a lot of details here. We'll cover that in just a moment. On the upside, it is a locked-in premium. The benefits stay the same as well, according to how the policy is dictated, except for those first 2 years. We'll talk about that. And you cannot be canceled due to age or health. So all things I think are important, with the exception of that limited death benefit. We need to know what exactly that means. And as we scroll through the frequently asked questions amounts, what I am going to look for is, there it is right there. You see on my screen where it says, is there a waiting period before the full benefit takes effect? We'll kind of get the same answer. Acceptance can be guaranteed because of a limited death benefit for the first 2 years. What does that really mean? So let's keep looking through this so we can try to find some more information. If we click on pricing and terms, I went back. I'm selecting my state where I live. I live in Tennessee. And let's see if we can, there it is right here. So I'm going to scroll and zoom in for the description. There are no health questions to answer, no physicals to take to purchase this plan. We can guarantee your acceptance because of the 2-year limited benefit period for death from non-accidental causes. If death occurs from non-accidental causes during the first 2 years of coverage, the beneficiary will receive the premiums paid plus 7% interest compounded annually. After the first 2 years, the full face amount will be paid for death from any cause. So what does this mean? Why should this matter to you? Simply put, the way a Colonial Penn guaranteed acceptance life insurance plan, and this is not me, the biased agent, telling you something that isn't true. This is taken directly from their website. This is specifically saying that if you die from non-accidental death, which by definition, what other ways to die are there to die besides non-accidental? Natural death, which can be anything. It could be from disease. It could be from anything such as a long chronic ailment, anything like that where one dies naturally. If that occurs within the first 2 years, there is no full death benefit payout. Only what you paid in plus 7% compounded annually, just a fancy way of saying it's a small marginal amount, will be paid to your beneficiary. So what does this look like on paper? So if you pay $100 a month and you pay that for 10 months, your beneficiary receives all that money you paid. So 10 times 100 is 1,000 plus 7% interest. So roughly, you're looking at another $70 on top of that. And if that were to purchase, it could be, depends on your age, of course, but that purchased you $15,000 in coverage, and you needed that to pay for your burial, your final expenses, and anything else for that matter. Big difference between $15,000 and $1,070, right? So therein lies the biggest problem with this particular plan. It doesn't matter what your health is. Now, that may be good for certain circumstances where you have really bad health. But it's definitely not if you're in good shape or even decent or okay shape or haven't had any chronic ailments in a couple of years. There are insurance companies I represent, for example, that will take you first day full coverage, that are brand name companies, that are legitimate, sound insurance carriers that will take people like yourself in those particular circumstances if you qualify. So why take a 2-year waiting period just because Alex Trebek tells you to or because this has been a company that's advertised for years? So the point of showing you this is to give you an idea of what the fine print really says. Now, let's talk about pricing. You may be thinking, oh, it's probably a good price because there's a 2-year wait. Well, that's probably not, and that's usually is not the case. So what I'm doing here on the screen is I'm going to show you what a sample person who is, let's see, I got to get my dates right here, 65 years old, female, and her name is Mickey Mouse. We're going to see what we can get for this particular type of plan. And so now on the screen, what we're looking at is the personalized quote for a 65-year-old female at the time of this recording. Smoker or non-smoker doesn't matter with Colonial Penn. They don't care. There's no question regarding that. But what this shows you is their unit per unit number. So in this case, it's always $9.95 per unit, but the coverage varies depending on how many units you purchase. So, for example, if I wanted to buy a coverage of, say, roughly $10,664, it's $79.60 a month, and that's 8 units. So this again is the guaranteed acceptance 2-year natural death benefit waiting period policy. So for a 65-year-old for roughly more than $10,000, it's $79.60 a month. Now, you may wonder, well, how does that compare to some of these other companies out there that offer burial insurance as well? What I'm going to do now is draw up my quoter just to show you some comparisons so you can see for yourself really how Colonial Penn matches up based on price for a comparable level of coverage. So again, you can determine if price-wise you're really getting the best deal with Colonial Penn. Okay, so what you see on the screen here is just a small sampling of common companies that I work with that can write somebody who's in okay shape to decent shape for first day full coverage for $11,000 in life insurance coverage. And you can see Mutual of Omaha, probably the one you're most familiar with, instead of being $79 and change for $11,000 more coverage than what the Colonial Penn is offering you. Instead of being $79.60 for $10,664 in coverage with the 2-year wait, Mutual of Omaha for $11,000 is only $44.79 a month, and that's for a non-smoking female. Even if you put in the smoker rate, show the difference here, it's still $61.28, still a significant savings of $17, $18 roughly a month. That's several $100s in a year. So the point is that Colonial Penn really isn't the best price choice, nor is it the best value choice for a large group of people. Again, it's individual. I can't say I know what your health is and what you're going to exactly qualify for, but the chances are high that you may qualify for something that not only is a brand name company, but also gives you a competitively priced life insurance option that is better than Colonial Penn's guaranteed acceptance plan and gives you first day full coverage too. So why does this all matter? Because we don't know when we're going to die. It could happen suddenly. You don't have to be sick to die suddenly. It happens to a lot of people unexpectedly, as you probably have experienced through friends and family in your life. So it's important to be in a position where you can get something that will protect you as much as possible. Now, Colonial Penn also offers a permanent whole life insurance plan. This is for people 40 to 75. You see it on the screen here. It is first day full coverage. There are health questions involved, and there's no medical exam that they have to do. And in some circumstances, this can be a more competitive route to consider. So you can see on the screen here for a 65-year-old female that we're looking at $47.43 for $10,000 in first day full coverage, whereas with Mutual of Omaha, again, probably the most recognizable company by many people's standards in the life insurance, burial insurance business, is just $41.01. So it's still significantly less expensive. And assuming you may qualify for both of those, Mutual of Omaha is going to give you a better deal and probably prompt you to have a little bit more coverage as well, or just save some money. Again, it's preferable if you're in good shape to qualify with the Colonial Penn permanent whole life insurance, because they will give you first day full coverage if you may qualify for it. The problem is that Colonial Penn only offers what they offer, and they're going to have a set standard of health questions which you may or may not qualify for, which means if you don't qualify for it, you'll be kicked back to this 2-year waiting period product that Colonial Penn offers, whereas you may, in my circumstance, if you worked with me, qualify for another product that gives you first full day coverage but has more understandable underwriting because of your health circumstance. Perfect example are people who have insulin or have diabetes. Sometimes these companies are very difficult to qualify for. COPD is a condition that many people think they're not going to get first day full coverage for, and many times don't, but there's companies I work with that will provide it. So the point in saying all this is that there are options available to you that may be able to qualify you for something better than the guaranteed acceptance type of plan that Colonial Penn offers. So last thing I'm going to mention here is the what we call the renewable term life insurance plan. So maybe you're not interested in permanent life, you don't believe in it, you think term insurance is the best way to go for life insurance. It's totally fine. I want to show you how their life insurance products work. So again, you can get a better understanding of the details and see if these particular types of plans are something that makes sense for what it is that you're looking for and matches your particular goal. So I am on the page here pulling up renewable term life insurance quotes. The most important thing to understand with the renewable term life insurance is that it covers up to age 90, and there is age bands that affect it where there's, generally speaking, price increases every 5 years. So if we go back, and I'm going to take you back to the main page, we're going to do just a basic overview like we did earlier where you can read about how this works. It's available to people 18 to 75, no exams. To qualify, the premium benefit goes up to, the death benefit goes up to $50,000 depending on the age. And the way the rates work, let's see if we can get pricing and terms again, is that there's generally, if we read this, rates increase as you enter a new age band. If we download the rate chart, this is how your premiums would increase. So let's say if you look at this screen here, you want let's say you want $25,000 and you're 65. Well, as soon as you turn 66, that jumps up to $64.89. Well, then as soon as you turn 71, it goes up to just shy of 90. And as you can see, it goes up tremendously high until you reach 90, and then it cancels if you've made it past that. Now, the thing is that this isn't necessarily bad if you're looking for the most coverage for the least price. There's long-term problems and implications in that, can you afford this being on a fixed income? Because most people who look at these products generally are close to or at retirement or even into retirement. So pricing really matters. And if we look at this quote again that I drew up, for $30,000 in coverage for a 65-year-old female, you're looking at $57.50 a month. Or for $50,000, $94.83. And again, this will cover you up to 90. But if we look at that quote here, and if you got $50,000 at 65 on the female chart here, you can see if you keep this thing, you got it. You can be paying $528.69 until you hit at between 86 until 90 when it cancels. Crazy. And again, that started off a fifth of the price. It goes up, way more than 500% in that period. So what can you do instead? So what I'm drawing up here on the screen are some term life insurance quotes just to show you something comparable. Again, if you're a 65-year-old female, that's what we're going to go with. We're going to show $50,000 in coverage so that you, again, can see a difference in what you may qualify for and just get a good comparison. So on the screen here, I've picked up $50,000 in coverage, 65, non-smoking female. And there's a collection of companies that I have access to, with the best being at $43.97 a month. And that price, by the way, remains stable for all those 20 years. It does not go up. So from 65 to 85, you have the same price. You're never going to have a price increase like Colonial Penn would. It stays the same the entire time. And then just to scroll through here, if you had to qualify for something less than that, let's say you're at what we call a standard rate, even if it's a little higher at 76, 75, it's still the same price for the 50,000. So you can do one of two things. You can get more coverage and still have the same price if you're comfortable at that rate that Colonial Penn gave you, or you can reduce your premium dramatically. Now, for those of you who who like the idea of carrying term to beyond that, there's some different options we can do. I don't have a way to show you it on the screen here, but we can do plans called universal life plans that we can design to cover to a certain age. Like, for example, there's what we call a no-lapse universal life plan that's a little bit more expensive, but it's permanent protection, and but it doesn't go up in price as long as you maintain the same price until you pass away. So it's kind of like gives you the most amount of coverage for the least amount of price on a permanent, non-canceling basis, as long as you continue to pay that premium as directed by the policy. So the point in showing you all this again is to show the details and how these plans work, to give you all the necessary information to make a determination if these types of plans really make the most sense for you. Again, to recap, we've looked at the guaranteed acceptance policy, probably the most common one that most people are looking at. The conclusion there is that they always give a 2-year waiting period policy for these plans. And that meaning if you die within the first 2 years of natural causes, it doesn't cover it. It covers, but coverage is defined as the premiums are refunded plus 7% interest. And how that, for many of the prospects that we have that deal with us, is not the best deal. There are companies that we deal with that in many circumstances may qualify you for first-day full coverage for natural and accidental death at a better premium too. And the same thing goes for their permanent plan, which covers, there's better pricing, probably better ways to qualify for underwriting if your health isn't the best either, because working with a broker like us here at Buy Life Insurance or Burial, we shop different companies. You're not stuck with one, meaning you only have one option. And lastly, if you're really interested in their term product, there are options available that may get you much better pricing that not only gives you more coverage, but also gives you the ability to lock that price in so you don't have those inconvenient price increases later on. So I hope this helped you kind of understand Colonial Penn a little bit more, to help you make that determination if this particular product is best. Again, I wanted to show you on my desktop, it's not something I made up, but something from the actual websites that provide these products to you, so you are empowered and have the decision-making ability to see if this kind of product is sensible or not. And you've got the amount of information that you need to make that determination for yourself. And I'll leave you with this. If this is anything that we can help you with, if you want to see any of the companies that we've showed you and you want us to give you a better quote, that's what we're here for. There's 2 different ways that we can help you out. You can call me direct at 888-626-0439. You'll deal with myself or either one of my friendly representatives, and we can give you a quote for any of these products we've shown you within 5 to 10 minutes of just kind of getting an idea of what your goals are and your health is as well. Or you can go to my website at buylifeinsuranceforburial.com and then input your information by sending us a message on the left-hand or bottom of the screen. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. We'll be happy to get back to you that way as well. And make sure you like and share this video with people like you who may be wondering about the same kind of thing, especially those who have Colonial Penn. Share this with them. A lot of people don't know about the 2-year wait on natural death. And if anybody's kind of in that, mindset about looking at life insurance, this is very good information that they probably don't know about. My name is David Duford. Again, thank you for watching. I do hope that it helped you out.